Hey folks, how are you? Phil Davis, Ancestry Lands, ancestrylands.com. I hope, oh wow, we got the radio on too as well. I hope you guys have been missing me actually. I hope you had a good Mother's Day with all your celebrations, if you do celebrate that. And shout out to all the good moms out there, the actual, quality moms out there raising children. And enough of that, we're going to get back into, did you miss me? Did you miss me? Took off for a few days, gave you all some good property videos to take a look at. And we're going to jump into today's topic, which is, do you have what it takes to get through the mud? I'm reminded of a saying quoted by Denzel Washington, actor Denzel Washington. And he used to say, or the quote was saying that if you pray for rain, you got to deal with the mud. And everyone knows what that particularly means, and that when you pray for rain to come because you're looking for a season of plenty, if you will, when you're looking for that season of plenty where the rain comes and it brings you, like in a farmer, you're looking for, why is this still coming on? You're looking for a season of plenty where you can harvest the fruits of your labor, where it is now time to gain the rewards of all the hard work that you've done, and the rain is what makes that possible. Can you get through the mud that you got to deal with? The responsibilities of what goes along with tilling that soil. When you deal with farmers, we all want the fruit, the crops, the meat, the harvest. We want the harvest, but most of the farmers' work is actually spent on tilling the soil, fertilizing, planting seeds, and growing, the crops, making sure the pesticides are not infecting the actual tree or whatever plant they're trying to grow to get that produce or vegetable or fruit, whatever they're looking to grow. And if you take that metaphor into your life and you look at how do we harvest the fruit of our labor, we have to get through the mud. We've got to get through that rainy season where people are tilling the soil in their own life. They're doing the labor part. That's the part everyone wants to skip past. Do you teach your children those values, those morals, the labor of hard work? It brings me to, if you saw any videos that I've had before talking about my son doing a school project, when he's doing this school project, a lot of times what he has to do is do research. Now when I'm talking to my wife, she sends him right towards where an answer can be gotten. And part of people talk about technology and kids these days. Part of the reason why kids are these days, like where we had to read Encyclopedia Britannicas, is that the information from technology is readily available. The only reason why you got to read Encyclopedia Britannicas is because the information was housed in an area where you could get that information. It could be, you could acquire that information. That was not something that was probably there previous generations before you. And now children have access to handheld knowledge in their hand or via the internet. They don't need to travel to some place, and 9 times out of 10, they do not need to go to a long journey to get an answer to a question that they do not know. It does not take them longer to get to the end point of anything that they're looking to find out that's unknown. You don't know how to say something in a different language, you can just go on an app and get the translation. There is no more that you have to learn the language in order to get the outcome, which is the knowledge of what the finality is, what the answer is. You don't have to do that anymore. But still, as parents, the administrators and facilitators of that, we still have to task the children or ourselves with learning that knowledge, for the knowledge to become part of us. When I had my son do his research project and he actually had to go through and read. Now again, you might have access to the internet, but the requirements to read through information has not changed. What we're doing is making excuses on us not sitting time and monitoring and supervising our children and kind of evaluating what they have learned in order to get their project done. And that takes for one person to not be that way, to be about acquiring knowledge. Because as my son, he's going to do a PowerPoint presentation. And with the PowerPoint presentation, you can see when people who are well prepared, their speech is fluid. Like in this video, I don't spend a lot of time stuttering or fumbling over thoughts and words because my mind is fluid in what I have to say. And when my son is doing a research project where he has to speak to information, the more you got to look down and refer to your notes, you got to go to this screen, that screen. Oops, I forgot. Oh, I'm reminded here, there. That's a person who lacks the center of their being, does not have that knowledge. I was talking to my mother earlier this morning, and one of the things I was telling her about was that when I wrote my book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, A Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, I wrote that book. That wasn't something that, dude, you better get your, I'm like, bro, what in the HE double hockey sticks is going on over here, man? When I wrote that book, I wrote that book from my mind. I didn't use AI to help me write that book. I had an editor, and we worked on that over a series of 6 months. So when you ask me about that information, and I may not know exactly page 45 says this, but when you speak to me about that knowledge or that information that I've written down, I can talk to it. Not only because, one, I wrote it myself, but I lived it, I breathed it. I went through and made that journey. I spent the time going over the knowledge that had to be, kind of chewed down and spit up and edited in a way that it could be digestible to you, the reader. And even still, the information that I'm sharing right now in these videos that I'm producing is the culmination of my life experiences and the knowledge that I've gained along in my journey. These are the things that I'm doing right now in my life, or the things that I'm creating in my business journey, that I'm bringing a value to you now. And as I go through life and I'm looking at things, because I have young kids, and I'm educating them and being a parent to them, and I see that even though my son has access to the internet, he has access to a vast amount of information that I did not have readily available in my childhood. The task of doing research was put on him by me. I still forced him to go and find out the information and structure it in a way so that way when he presents, he could speak to it mostly from his mind. And that's the problem that, if you look at AI as a threat because you are simply always looking to find the answer. AI is great, but it's an assistive tool, at least for me. It is not a replacement for what is in my mind. Now, when you're looking for AI to replace you, AI can replace people who are replaceable, meaning that they are people who have no knowledge. Not knowledge of self, but knowledge of the world. You're not a person you don't find knowledge or seek knowledge out where knowledge can be found. You don't learn for learning's sake. You learn only because it's got to be on the test. It's going to be covered this Friday. I've got to pass this. Learning for you is a hurdle in order to get an outcome or get to the other side. But for some people, learning is a road they travel on. It is a road that they travel on that they have no end in sight. It is a long road that it has hills, valleys, all kinds of weather. It is not smooth sailings on their quest for knowledge. It is a quest. They are ever learning. It's an empty pit in their stomach which cannot be filled, but it requires still for you to put something in it daily. That's what people who are true learners that they do. Other people learn only when they're required to. Now that's bars right there. That's a fact. So yeah, when you look at AI, you're looking at something that is going to compete with you because you have no motivation to learn. And with that, that means when you get periods where it rains and it creates mud for you, and you got to work when it's slippery, when it's hard, when you got to till the soil, when you got to actually put the elbow grease in to make your plan successful, you fall short and you fail. To a person who is not required to learn, they are a person that inquires to learn. Like that right there. See, I'm putting something upon you. Let me repeat that back. Let me run that back again. I'm freestyling, but I got bars right now, right? For a person that is required to learn, you will have difficulties in those times of mud where you have to till the soil and much is required from you. Not every farmer, not every person on their journey is always going to have the answers right in front of them in order to be successful. Some people have to figure it out, and the reason why they are successful is because they inquire to learn. They are not required to learn. They inquire to learn. Bars right there, boy. Woo! That boy put something on you. They inquire to learn. These are people who are seekers of knowledge. They're not going to wait to be told where to go. They're going to ask where they can go in order to find the route, the way. And that's the difference. A lot of people will only seek the way when the walls close in and that's the only way out. They won't look for signs on how to find the right door. And that's where you got people who God needs to come in. You need some kind of supernatural force to come in here to save you from a choice that you could have inquired to learn. Not a lesson you were required to learn, right? Learn from, apparently. And some people don't learn, right? That we always have those people who just do not learn. They have to learn the hard way because they're required to learn. Other people be like, hey man, I saw that guy, he went over that bridge and he seemed to disappear. I want to know what's going on over there because it looks like something's up over there. I may not need to go that way. They're inquiring. They've observed and they said, something don't look right over there. Let me ask around. Anybody know what happens over there when you go? They're going to inquire to learn information to save them a lesson that will devastate them that they now are required to learn because they never inquired. Now again, you might have to run that back, slow it down a little bit, figure out what I was talking about back there because I just dropped some heat on you. Boy. So, and again, how do you overcome the mud, you'll ask me, right? How do you overcome it? With knowledge. First, you need knowledge. Because again, the experience of other farmers, the experience of other people who are successful can tell you how to deal with hard times and what you need to expect when you are dealing with hard times. That comes in how do you deal with hard times from a mental standpoint? How do you deal with hard times when you are raising a family and these hard times come upon you? How do you deal with business setbacks while raising a family and dealing with the mentality to stay the course when everyone else doubts you, doubts your path? When your wife tells you maybe you should quit and go back to doing this, you need to have a strong mentality, an inner core that's built, again, an inner armor. Here we talking about the inner armor again. That helps you to keep pressing forward when you do not have the confidence of others around you. When it is easy to have inner doubt. Now, let me put a little asterisk in there because I don't want y'all saying, oh, Phil, you said always got to have confidence. Okay, again, confidence is one thing, being pragmatic is another one. Confidence with practical or being pragmatically confident is different than somebody who is just blind ignorance. You got to know the difference between the two. Now, I don't feel like I should have to say that because, again, anybody watching this should be of the mind to understand knowledge at a higher level. I shouldn't have to break it down into baby food puree diet pieces in order for you to understand that when I say that you need to have confidence because you have a track record of qualified outcomes, which we talk about many times. Qualified outcomes that lead you to believe that you are in a period of, you're in a valley, you're not in a peak. You have highs and lows, right? You're in a low. And what you have to do now is be able to identify that you are in fact in a low point. And you have to continuously work with knowledge on how to get out of that. And you first have to attack your mind. Your mind has to be the first thing that you gain control over. Because your mind will allow you to see others succeeding when it is not your turn to succeed yet. When it is your turn to wait. When it is your turn to stay still. You'll see that a lot of times with alpha predators, apex predators out in the wild. You'll see when lions are hunting, they're out and they're patiently looking for that right opportunity. They sit and wait in the cut, and they have to be patient because the wrong timing they jump, they didn't get that. They didn't catch that prey. And what you're doing is seeing everybody else catch something, and now you're going to go jump. Other people got Benzes, they got houses, they got cars, they got women, and what you're doing is you're going to go out there and force it to happen instead of waiting till it's your time. Not the right time, it's your time. There's a difference. So that's why you have to attack your mind first. You got to build that mental fortitude, mental toughness, to be aware of where you are emotionally. It happens to me too sometimes, man. It does. I seeing when I started out in the land business, people were getting properties, deals left and right. And I'm like, man, I haven't got one deal yet. A month go by, 2 months go by, no deal yet. And again, I had to keep doing what I'm doing. And then eventually the deal came in. And sure enough, after 1 deal came in, 2 came in, 3 came in. And now I'm like, great, I've got properties. Now I've got to find buyers. Now I've got to find people who want these properties, right? I was so concerned and consumed with the fact that I may not be getting a deal coming in, and it was bothering me. And I said, no, Phil, what you got to do is you got to keep on. Because if you change one thing, it's almost like you're starting over again. So then you change, right? What you do is this isn't working out. Let me change that, right? Oh, this job isn't working out. Let me go change to another job. Then that job doesn't give you the results that you want right away. Then you change another job. Well, those results could have been a month away from the first job you left. And then you left another job, and that one could have been a month away from you getting those results. Maybe you were looking for a position, and that didn't happen when you got employed, but someone was leaving a month later, and you didn't wait. Then that opportunity opens up, but again, you're not waiting. You're making reactive decisions instead of proactive decisions. And a proactive decision is the difference between a lion saying, I'm going to let 5 gazelles go by, and the 6th one is the one I'm going to catch. Because generally in my hunts, the 6th one is always the one that tends to be the easiest to go. They're going to be blinded, right? Because 5 gazelles in front will create enough dust for them not to see me, right? Then you got a younger lion going, well, I'm going to get the first one up there. Well, the first gazelle going at the top can see clearly. So now, when they see you and avoid you, every other gazelle behind says, oh, they jump. Whenever I see them jump, that means the lion's there. We're going the other way. So now you done messed it all up because you were impatient. That's what I'm talking about, being pragmatically confident. You got to understand the terrain that you're in. So now I've got to do the same thing with selling a property. And sure enough, the same thing happens. Other land guys around me, they're getting deals left and right. Oh, I've sold 2 properties this month, right? 3 properties this month from another group. 4 properties that month. I haven't even got my first deal off yet. Not one person bought a property yet. However, a few weeks later, I've got 1 property already under contract, 2 properties already under contract, the next day after that. And the next thing I know is those people who had those big wins up front started like 6 months later, they're not in the business anymore. They quit out. One guy had a perfectly good property, ended up keeping the property, and guess what he did? Quit altogether. So now they're not doing it anymore. And now when I look at a year or 2 years later, from that initial group of land investors that I went in to learn all this information with, there's only 2 of us out of 12. In the same, or I'm sorry, out of 15. There's only 2 of us still doing land business successfully. And a lot of other people just moved on to do something else. So in time, I won total annihilation victory. Complete victory. But if I was reacting when I saw other people being successful, I wouldn't be on my path. I'd be on something different. I'm competing at their level, their game. I'm using their path as a measure of what my path should be, but my path went down a little bit, or it was level when they were going up, but they went over a hill. I was going over a mountain. Now, that's what I'm trying to tell you all. Sometimes you're walking and you're saying, man, my road is so flat, so flat, so flat. And you're looking around, and you don't understand the reason why your road is so flat, so flat, so flat is because you see somebody walking up over what looks like a big hill, but when you get up, you got a mountain to climb to be successful. All they got is hills. All they got is short elevation to get over. So yeah, that's going to look like they're going up higher much quicker than you are because you're at the bottom of a mountain, not at these little hills you can see the top to. They got a lot of little hills. But when your peak is at the very top, when you've got a mountain to climb, guess what? It's going to be very flat at the bottom of the mountain. This person might go over 5 hills and that's it. The rest of their journey is over. They're in nothing but flat land. And guess what you've got? The reason why you don't see anything coming is because your thing is way off and you got to go very flat for a longer period of time, because again, what you got to do is build your endurance up, because after you get to a certain point, it's nothing but elevation to climb. Nothing but a mountain to climb after that. So you're going to walk a few miles to build your strength and endurance up until you get to where you got to climb in the thousands of feet. You might have to go tens of thousands of feet to climb up to get to your mountaintop, where another person might have to go 100 feet. They've got to climb a few hills to get over, talking about, I'm being successful. Look at my wins. Look at my wins. And next thing you know, they're trying to find a hill, and then they see you got one mountain, and it's only mountain that's there because, again, to get to the top, you're going to have success for generations. A mountain is a series of, it's more hills than what they're walking over. You got an entire mountain to go over because that was your path. Your path wasn't meant for you to go over hills. You don't need hill training. You need mountain endurance. So yeah, your stamina needs to be built up at a way different level, because you got a different path to climb. Now let that sink in for a little bit. You don't hear what I'm saying. You don't hear it. You can't hear me right now. You cannot hear what I'm saying to you. And again, when I'm looking at now, sales go down, the real estate market does this, does that. What happens now? When I start looking back, because I've built a strong buyer pool, because I've gotten such good business with my actual clients, the people who are buying land from me, guess what they're doing? They're buying more properties from me. They're going back through and clearing out inventory. I've got a whole family down to cousins to nephews and nieces looking at land. So I could sell all property to an entire family and clear out inventory quicker because I give good deals. Got one person bringing me everybody in their family, cousins, brothers, sisters, nephews, interested in what grandma, grandpa, or uncle, or dad, or, you know, our cousin over there, what they own. That's what they're looking for. How'd you get 3 properties? For how much? No interest, no credit checks. Whoa. What's going on? Well, what do you mean? Y'all, hold on. My dad, my aunt, my uncles, they all own. Who is this guy? Who's this Phil Davis that we're talking about? Where's the website? Ancestry Lands? Okay, how many properties? So hold on, you telling me I only need to put $2,000-3,000 down and I can get 3 properties locked up? And I don't got to pay him off right away? He don't charge interest, he don't charge credit checks? People start saying, let me build my money up. Let me get my wealth up. Because that's good business. I did good business with them. So yeah, maybe things are slowing down on the market, but I've got off-market deals coming in. And this isn't a brag, look at me, but again, that was the time where I built my business and made sure that, again, when you are building a tree to yield fruit, you take care of the roots, not just the fruit. When you are building a farm for all those, when you are working on your own nation, not someone else's plantation, when you are building your own nation, the fruit is not what you need to concern yourself about. It's the roots that you need to be worried about. When you build good roots, the fruit will always be sweet. And the tree will continuously give and give good fruit, because the root is what brings the nutrients up to the fruit. When you do good business with people, they tend to bring you good fruit, because the root of your business is good business. So now I've got clients bringing me, family members bringing me business, which means I get to strengthen my position. And that means I can reward my clients for bringing me money where income is falling off for businesses. I can still pay my employees to continue to market. But again, it's because I didn't set it on I wasn't looking at someone else's path saying I should be just like them. I don't charge interest. I don't do credit checks. A lot of other land companies do. But that wasn't the path I was going, because again, I wanted my land to be for the people, by the people. And I'm not trying to be corny there, because I know what it's like to have a bad credit score and you're looking for a chance to get to come up, to get better. You made mistakes and you're looking for it. You need a win. And some people, owning a property is a win. It gets them started. Because they're saying, I don't have enough credit to buy a house. I can barely get into an apartment. I've got to pay interest rate. I only got 1 or 2 credit cards. I've been there. I have been there. Not now, but I've been there a long time ago. 20 years ago, I was right there. And I don't have good credit. I can't do it. And you know what? Right now, I'm in an opportunity to acquire land, acquire something of value. And if I do this, it may just get me to that next point. But again, you need somebody who can make that happen. And I've been there, man. I know what it's like when you're looking at other people driving nice cars and this and that, and you just need one deal. The Ancestry Lands has one property that could change your life. One property. One deal that could change things for you. The only question is, are you going to take it? And that's all I've got to say for today, folks. Thank you for watching the video today. I'm really humbled to be at where I'm at in life right now. Make sure you go and get some knowledge, information. Amazon.com, my book, Getting Dollars from Dirt, Beginner's Guide to Vacant Land Investing, is on Amazon. $16, folks. Get there and get some information for yourself. Remember, you either own property or you'll be owned as property. Phil Davis, and I'm out. Peace.